Hey guys, it's Kirby the Bookish Nurse and welcome back to my channel. Today, as I'm sure you can tell from the title, I'm going to do a quick review on Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I've never actually done an official book review before, like verbally. I'm going to attempt this. And I think I'm going to try to make the first portion of it spoiler free and then have a book chat, spoilery book chat after that. But I'm going to try to keep it pretty quick. So Dark Matter by Blake Crouch has been one of my favorite books of this year. It was mind twisty and I'm typically not the fastest of readers. However, I picked this book up and finished it in 2 sittings. It was so immersive and it was paced so well. It was so good and it was so easy for me to be sucked in to everything that Blake Crouch was trying to say in this book. Or everything I feel like he was trying to say. So Dark Matter is a sci-fi thriller, which I don't typically do sci-fi. It's not my thing. And I have just recently started getting into thrillers. Like very, like the past couple months. A lot of times with thrillers, you kind of know sort of what's going to happen. Or every time I've tried them, that's kind of how it comes out. It's like kind of formulaic, which is fine if that's what you want, but I'm not thrilled by that. This book, however, took me down so many paths that I did not plan on going down. We have Jason Dessen. When he was younger, he was a bright, up-and-coming physicist, and he was one of the best in the field. He had a promise of a bright future in front of him, and he was like on the brink of some really astronomical breakthroughs, even as a very young physicist. However, right whenever he was getting to that point, his girlfriend of only a few months found out that she was pregnant. She told him when she had the baby was very sick, and they decided to dedicate their focus and their time to building that family and being there for each other and supporting the baby and doing what they needed to do to make sure the baby was okay and had a good life, all those things. And now, flash forward 15 years later, and Jason is in a good marriage. He's in love with his wife. He works at a local college as a physics professor. The baby is now 14, finna be 15. It's a good life. It's an average life, but it's a good life. He goes out one night and has a couple drinks with one of his colleagues from whenever he was in school, who has now, he didn't do the family thing, but he focused on career, and he's now like top of his field, making discoveries, creating drugs, and doing different things that physicists do. He doesn't go into overly scientific terms for any of this. I feel like anything in this book, pretty much anyone can comprehend. So anyway, he goes out for drinks with his friend, and who's celebrating some big breakthrough that he had. And on the way home, this is all in like the first 2 chapters. On the way home, he gets not mugged, but he gets abducted and hit in the head. And when he wakes up, he is in a lab, and everybody's congratulating him, and he has absolutely no freaking idea what's going on. And we, while we're reading, have no idea what's going on. He tries to find his wife, can't find her, she doesn't exist, his child doesn't exist. He's not a professor. what? And that's what, for the first couple chapters, I was like, what is this? What is happening? Where am I? Where are we? Where did you take us? Where did you wake up? Who are these people? Why are they clapping? They should not be Who even am I right now? And and I was just as confused as Jason. The author very, very much put us in that place where we were just like, what? Why? I don't like that. what is going on? Yes, that's my name. Yes, that is my face. But where is all the rest of my things? The story really takes off from there and gets super crazy. I will say that the pacing, it's very fast paced. It never slows down. Every time you turn a page, there is something happening. And it really is able to keep you hooked the entire time that you're reading. Something I will praise the author on, the main character's family, the wife and the child, we only really see briefly. We see them in, I think, chapter 1, as far as actually them being in a scene, not him thinking about them. And somehow with that one chapter, I was attached to him. And that doesn't happen very often, but I was rooting for the guy to get home because of his lovely family. And I was impressed by that because I do not get attached that easily. But I did this time. So now, if you haven't read it, or if you don't want to be spoiled for anything else that happens, please exit the video now. I'll give you a second. Okay, so after our friend Jason gets abducted, we find out so many scientific things. There is a multiverse. I super nerded out with this book. I am not a scientist. I don't know things. However, I felt like I fully understood what was going on, even though in real life I probably had no idea. But in this book, I felt like I knew what was going on because it was explained in such a basic way. This whole book centers around the premise of the path not taken. Are you the happiest version of yourself due to the choices that you have made? Could your life have been better had you chosen to do this or this? And every single choice you make, the timeline splits and creates a new timeline. So there was another timeline where Jason chose not to focus on family and chose to instead focus on his career. And that Jason, remember at the beginning he was on the brink of a big breakthrough. That Jason went ahead and focused all of his energy on his career and his studies and created a portal to the multiverse. So he can essentially, with the help of this drug that blocks off part of your brain, has created a way through like sensory deprivation and that brain blocking drug to access any portion of the multiverse he wishes to. This means he can go back to any decision he's ever made and start over from that point. Not start over, but pick up at that point. That's the second timeline. So that Jason from the second timeline, Jason 2, decided he has accomplished everything he has wanted to accomplish, and he wants to see the other side of life. What would have happened if he had chosen the family life instead of the career life? And he does. And he goes and he abducts Jason 1, but he's still not a terrible person. So he didn't kill him, but he made them switch lives, which was so mind-blowing. There's several quotes. I highlighted all through this book. There's several quotes that just, God, they hit me. Let me see if I can find any of the ones that I really like. that I feel like really capture the spirit of this story. In this book, he included a quote from Mark Twain that really kind of freaked me out. It said, "Nothing exists, all is a dream. God, man, the world, the sun, the moon, the wilderness, stars, all a dream. They have no existence. Nothing exists save empty space and you. And you are not you. You have no body, no blood, no bones. You are but a thought." That's Mark Twain. And I hear people, like conspiracy theorists and stuff, talking about that or something similar to that pretty often whenever I hear those type of people talk. And it freaks me out. It's like, have you ever heard anybody talking about it's all a simulation? What if it is? It freaks me out. What if none of this is real? And that's kind of what Mark Twain was saying in that quote. None of this is real. Your reality is based on your perception. If you choose a different perception, your reality will change. and which is true to some extent. Whether or not this is a simulation, I don't know. But I do know that if you change your perception of a problem or of anything, your outcome will be different. And it hits on that a lot. This is an explanation of the multiverse. I have no idea how I'm going to cut and put together this video to make it make any sense. I apologize. From now on, I am going to be taking notes so that I can make better reviews. I've never done this. I'm sorry. But this is a quote that I feel like sums up this multiverse situation we have going on. Because I knew nothing of the multiverse. Alright, imagine you're a fish swimming in a pond. You can move forward, back, side to side, but never up out of the water. Makes sense. If someone were standing beside the pond watching you, you'd have no idea they were there. Facts. To you, that little pond is an entire universe. Yes. Now imagine that someone reaches down and lifts you out of the pond. You see that what you thought was the entire world is only a small pool. You see other ponds, trees, the sky above. You realize you're a part of a much larger and more mysterious reality than you had ever dreamed of. Freaky. So that kind of was him trying to explain the multiverse to someone. It was a really understandable way to explain it. Like, I know some science, but I know like biology. I don't know this other stuff. I also really appreciated the box that they used to travel the multiverse. They didn't say, "Here, reader, here is an explanation of how this box works. You do this and this and this." Instead of doing that, they did, Blake Crouch, he did show you how it worked. So, like, the main character makes a mistake. Well, now you know. That ain't how it works. And, like, you kind of figure out how it works with him instead of just being info dumped. It's really funny to go back and look. I haven't really went and looked back at my notes until now, but it's funny to go back and look how many times I highlighted stuff that just said, something has went terribly wrong. What? Well, this is definitely not what I meant to do. Something has went awry. I guess that's how I felt the whole time I was reading. Just, well, that's not what I meant. That's the wrong button. This isn't how your life turned out, only how it ended. Your life was beautiful. That has nothing to do with any point I'm making. I just thought that was such a good quote. There was one part where some choices that the main character made had him being homeless and just tired, and he didn't know how he was going to get up and continue. So he didn't for a minute. One of the passages, he was watching himself in the timeline that he ended up in at this point that got him to that homeless, helpless, hopeless state. One of the passengers said he's watching himself in this other timeline, and himself from that timeline is he's cool, he's good. He has basically the same life that our Jason originally had, just slightly different. And it says, what a miracle it is to have people to come home to every day, to be loved, to be expected. I thought I appreciated every moment, but sitting here in the cold, I know I took it all for granted. And how could I not? Until everything topples, we have no idea what we actually have, how precariously and perfectly it all hangs together. That hurts me. I was not expecting to have so many deep thoughts while reading this sci-fi book. But I guess that is a common theme in sci-fi books, is like, what does it mean to be human? Also in that same world where he was incredibly lost, there was a moment where he saw another homeless man talking to himself, and it was obvious that he had mental disabilities. And he was thinking to himself, and he said, am I so different? Aren't we both lost in worlds that for reasons beyond our control no longer align with our identity? And that made me cry a little bit, because it's true. You don't know what that person went through. You don't know their story, or how they ended up homeless, or how they ended up where they are. You don't know. And that hit me. Oh, I cried. We have several super romantic passages between him. It's not really between him and his wife, but with him thinking about his wife and how much he loves her. Then things get super twisted, and we find out there's like Jason number 153 or something absurd. The only romantic part that I like highlighted and doodled said his wife's name is Daniela. It says, being with Daniela isn't like being home. It defines home. So in other words, being with her doesn't feel like being home. Being with her is what makes it home. My goodness. That's so sweet. I think this was the parallel to life and the box that he was writing. The box isn't all that different from life. If you go in with fear, fear is what you'll find. Facts, Blake. Just spitting straight facts. The one complaint that I have about this book, and it's not even a real complaint, it's just a personal preference, was at the ending. I don't care for open endings. Some people don't mind them. Some people prefer them. I don't like them. I want to know what happens. And the end was kind of left open. I mean, you know, yay, they ended back up together. But then whenever they get back in the box, and you don't know what world they're going to. They described it as the world after the storm. That could be a jungle. They might be going and moving to the Amazon. They might be on a spaceship inhabited land. They could be anywhere, but I guess that's not the point. I guess the point is just that they're together, and whatever comes, they'll be there to greet it. And that's really the only complaint that I have. Everything else I was super impressed by, and I will be looking into his backlist of books because, man, he did such a great job. Overall, I'm giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I'm super glad that somebody in my book club convinced me to read this. Don't forget that August 6th, so this Friday, starts our back to school readathon, readathon. The Sunday following the readathon, I'll be posting a vlog of what all I get read during that week. So that's all I had. Now that's actually all that I have for you today. If you like this content and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment, and let me know if you've read this book before and if you had any thoughts or if you disagreed with me on any of this rambling that I said. If I even got any solid points across, y'all, I'm sorry. I'll do better. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye.